Let me add to the vision that our CEO, Al Fromm, has put out for the project and the paper, and to the spark in life and substance that Emerson Meeks has given us. Basically 6 points that I think are really important about the paper and it's worth thinking about a bit. The first one is the point of departure, which is that Americans, I think, generally feel a lot of sense of anxiety and a lot of sense of pressure emerging from the world. That we say in the paper that this is a real sense of anxiety and pressure and it's justified, and public policy needs to respond to it in an active and serious way. It emerges from fears about one's personal life, about where is my job going to be, how am I going to be a success, what will happen if I have to change my career, and also questions about the U.S. as a nation. Are we likely to be in 10 or 15 years leading an economy that we were 10 years ago and that we still are today? The second point is that these anxieties reflect structural changes that I believe are not going to go away, and that reflect the genuine advances foreign countries have made, and genuine changes in the way trade and international investment, all these sorts of international factors go on. One is the increasing sophistication and competitiveness of the big Asian countries, China and India. Their success is real and needs to be applauded, needs to be taken seriously. Two is the development of a global telecom and internet network, which is upheaving many of our services industries, leading to many good things for us, mostly good things for us, but also changing both the nature of trade and the nature of manufacturing. Another is a larger and more sophisticated logistical industry. One interesting statistic I found in researching this was that 10 years ago, there were about 2,000 container ships in the world, each with an average capacity of about 1,600 20-foot containers. Now there are 4,000 container ships with a 2,400 container capacity. And these are structural changes. They're not artifacts of policy or manipulation or unfair trade or anything of the sort. We have to live with them and accept them and adapt to them. On the whole, they're basically good for us. If you look at American spending patterns, you can see people shifting their spending away from clothes and food and the necessities of life into education, into healthcare, into luxury. You can see that the more open world economy we now have is, at the moment today, a support for the U.S. economy. All of the growth in the U.S. economy right now is coming either from exports or from government spending and stimulus. The contraction in domestic construction and financial services and real estate. We are relying on very rapid expansion of exports in services and farming and manufacturing to keep our economy at least above the contraction level. But we take as a point of departure that Americans are anxious, Americans want something better from the government, and they're right on both counts. The paper breaks the response really into 5 parts: competitiveness, adjustment, trade and financial policy per se, institutional reform, and making trade fair for poor people and poor countries. Let me concentrate on the first two, because I think those are really the heart of the matter. Competitiveness. We're facing much larger competitors, in a way much stronger competitors than we have in the past. We need a more innovative and more efficient economy to deal with it. Here we talk about improving our ability to train scientists and engineers at home, promoting high-skilled immigration, raising public investment in research spending, and encouraging broadband deployment. So we'll have a more innovative and more efficient economy in the years ahead. Adjustment. We're looking for ways really to ensure that not to prevent job loss, not to prevent change, but to make sure that job loss and career transitions are setbacks, but not catastrophes. Here we suggest, in addition to broadening and improving TAA, as Democrats in the House and the Senate are doing, providing a national guarantee of health insurance for workers who are laid off through no fault of their own, creating a portable pension system, creating some pilot programs for social insurance, and maintaining home ownership and college tuition during periods of job loss and unemployment. We go on to a range of suggestions in other areas. For example, as Congressman Meeks mentioned, in trade, we're suggesting refocusing the agenda more on multilateral initiatives than on FTAs. A couple of things I'd like to take note of. One is better inspection service. Another is reshaping of the financial institutions, G8 and IMF, to give Asia a bigger role than it now has, particularly China and Korea and India. Another is creation of a new international institution, Global Environment Organization, to oversee environmental negotiations and implementation of climate change. Then we have a set of policies meant to address the particular problems of the poorer countries and the inequities that exist in our own trade regime. It goes on in great detail, and I won't go over piece by piece. But finally, the last point I would like to make, echoing Al's point at the beginning, is that this is winning in the world economy too. We have been here before. This is not the first wave of anxieties over competition. Probably won't be the last wave of them. In the 1985 paper, we talk about the rise of Japan. What does that mean for the U.S.? What do we have to do differently at home? How should our negotiating agenda be reshaped? This is a different time. These are different challenges. But fundamentally, we should take heart from the success we had in dealing with that challenge, from the great underlying strengths of the United States in our financial system, in our universities, in our high quality of life. All these things we often take for granted, but give us a lot to draw on, even if new competitors seem pretty daunting and overwhelming. We end here with a case for optimism. This will be okay. If we have the right policies, if we let businesses adjust the way that many of them are doing, we'll come out of this okay. We have a very strong chance of remaining a world's leading economy with a higher standard of living. All those things we take for granted about our country for the next decade, so that 20 years from now, when whoever it is writes the winning in the world economy 3, they can look back not only on one successful response, but on 2. Thank you all very much, and we look forward to your response, your questions, because this is a big paper for us to release, but it's not the last word, and we look forward to hearing more.